Welcome back to Jack English Learning Podcast. I'm Jack, and today we are breaking down the psychology behind why people might dislike you without any logical provocation.
I'm Sara. We're exploring 5 hidden psychological triggers for this behavior. And if you stay until the end, you won't need to look this topic up again because we'll cover it in full detail.
I want to start with a feeling, a really specific, uncomfortable feeling that I think everyone listening has had. You walk into a room, it could be a party, a new job, a meeting, and you haven't said a word to anyone.
Right. You're a blank slate.
Exactly. A total blank slate. You're smiling, you're open, and then you just feel it. It's like a cold front moving in from one specific person.
It's a look, isn't it? Or the lack of a look.
Yeah.
A deliberate turning away.
Yes, it's active. It's not just that they don't notice you. It feels like they have already judged you, tried you, and found you guilty of something.
And the brain just goes into overdrive trying to figure out what you did wrong.
It's immediate self-auditing. Is it my shirt? Did I say something weird yesterday? Do I remind them of someone they hate? We assume the problem is us.
We have to. It's a survival mechanism to assume we have some control over how people see us. But what we're going to explore today is how often that assumption is completely wrong.
That this animosity, this unprovoked dislike is almost never about you.
It's a projection. You've essentially just walked onto a stage in a play that's already happening inside their head.
That is a fantastic way to put it. So before we dig into the first reason, let's make this practical for everyone listening.
Okay.
I want you to bring someone to mind. A specific person, maybe it's a colleague, a family member, someone who you just get that vibe from.
Yeah.
That they dislike you for no reason you can name.
Get a clear picture of their face in your mind. Hold on to that image.
Keep that person in mind as we go through these 5 reasons. Because by the end of this, you might just feel a sense of freedom from their judgment.
Or at least understanding.
Yep.
Which is a form of freedom.
All right. Reason number 1. This is a big one. It's called tall poppy syndrome.
The name itself is so visual. Just imagine a field of poppies all at the same height.
A beautiful, uniform field. But then one poppy, through its own vitality, grows a little taller than the rest.
And what happens to that poppy?
It gets cut down.
Exactly. Not because it's a weed, not because it's ugly, but simply because it's taller. It broke the uniformity.
And this isn't just a metaphor. It's a deeply ingrained social behavior. There's an origin story for this, isn't there? From ancient history.
There is. Comes from the story of the Roman king Tarquin. He was walking through his garden with a messenger from his son. His son wanted to know how to control a newly conquered rebellious town.
And Tarquin didn't write a letter back. He didn't give a big speech.
He said nothing at all. He just took his walking stick, and as he walked through his poppy garden, he silently sliced the heads off the tallest ones.
Wow. The message was unmistakable.
Eliminate the standouts. To maintain control of the group, you must eliminate anyone who rises too far above it.
And that psychological impulse, it's still alive and well in our offices, our families, our friend groups.
It is. It's the tendency for a group to resent, criticize, or even sabotage members who achieve notable success.
But why? What is the actual mechanism there? It can't just be pure malice.
Well, it's driven by something called social comparison. We, as humans, don't really have an objective way to measure our own worth or success.
There's no scoreboard above our heads.
No. So we look to our peers, we benchmark ourselves against the people around us. This is called social comparison theory.
And that's fine if everyone's kind of at the same level. But what happens when someone in our peer group suddenly shoots up?
That's when we're forced into what's called upward social comparison. And instead of that being inspiring, for many people, it feels like a threat.
Your success highlights my perceived failure.
Precisely. Your promotion reminds me that I'm stagnant. Your fitness goal reminds me that I'm on the couch. It's not about you, it's about the uncomfortable light you're shining on their own life.
And this gets worse when you add in something called the zero-sum bias.
The belief that success is a finite resource, like a pie.
If you get a big slice of success, there's less left for me. My brain processes your win as my loss.
Even if that's completely illogical, your promotion doesn't take anything from my pocket. But in the world of social status, it feels like it does.
So the person cutting down the tall poppy isn't just being mean. They're trying to restore their own sense of status and, I guess, fairness.
In their mind, yes. They're restoring the equilibrium. They're bringing things back to normal.
And we have to talk about who this affects most. Because the research is very, very clear that this isn't an equal opportunity syndrome.
Not at all. It disproportionately targets high achievers who are women or from marginalized groups.
Why is that?
because they violate societal expectations even more. There's a likability penalty. We expect certain groups to be modest and communal. When they're assertive and successful, it's doubly jarring.
The same exact behavior that's seen as leadership in a man might be labeled as aggressive or abrasive in a woman.
It's the same poppy, just growing in a different part of the field where the standards for height are, well, lower.
So for anyone listening who feels like they get pushback the moment they start succeeding, you are not imagining it.
No. You're feeling the cultural shears trying to prune you back to a more comfortable height for others.
This brings us to an interactive question. I want you to think about your own reaction to your own success.
Be really honest with yourself on this one.
When you get a big win or promotion, a great piece of feedback, a personal achievement, is your first instinct A, to share it widely and celebrate?
Or is it B, to downplay it, maybe even hide it, to avoid making other people uncomfortable?
Just take a second. A or B?
If your gut reaction was B, you've likely been conditioned by tall poppy syndrome. You've learned that standing out can be unsafe.
Okay, let's move to the second reason, which is related, but it's much more personal. We call it the mirror effect.
This one is so important in our current culture, which is obsessed with authenticity. Be yourself, live your truth.
It's on pillows, it's on coffee mugs, it's everywhere.
But what we don't talk about is the social cost of real authenticity. Because when you are unapologetically yourself, you become a mirror.
A mirror for what?
A mirror that reflects back to others all the parts of themselves they've suppressed, all the compromises they've made, all the masks they wear to fit in.
So, if I'm stuck in a corporate job I hate, and you come along having just quit your job to become a potter,
I don't just see a happy potter, I see the choice I was too afraid to make. Your freedom highlights my cage. And that is deeply uncomfortable.
so the brain's defense is to attack the mirror.
Of course. It's easier to say, you're being irresponsible, or that's so weird, than it is to confront the feeling that says, I wish I were that brave.
We call this the stagnation gap. It's the distance between the life someone is living and the life they wish they were living.
And when you show up living authentically, you expose that gap. The dislike you're feeling is often just their frustration with their own inaction redirected at you.
And think about the cost of masking. People spend so much energy trying to fit in, to be the person they think they're supposed to be.
It's exhausting. And when they see someone who refuses to play that game, it's threatening because it suggests that the cage they're in is, in fact, self-imposed. And that's a terrifying thought.
So their hostility is actually a defense mechanism to protect themselves from that realization.
It has to be. If they can invalidate you and your choices, they can validate their own.
This leads us to our next interactive question. A moment to pause and reflect.
Think about that person you visualized earlier, the one who dislikes you.
Ask yourself this: are they living a life that feels authentic and chosen? Or do they seem trapped in a role they might not even like?
Often, the people who are the harshest judges of others are the ones living under the harshest self-judgment.
That reframes things completely. It's not about you at all.
It's about their own inner conflict.
Okay, this brings us to our third reason, and this one. This one might be the most counterintuitive of all. It's called the reverse Ben Franklin effect.
To get the reverse, we have to start with the original, the Ben Franklin effect.
Right? The story goes that Ben Franklin had a political rival who just did not like him.
And instead of trying to win him over by doing him a favor, Franklin did the opposite. He asked the rival for a favor. He asked to borrow a rare book.
Which seems completely backwards.
It does. But Franklin understood something profound about the human mind. Our minds crave consistency. The rival's brain is now faced with a conflict. I dislike Ben Franklin, but I just did him a favor.
That doesn't add up.
It's a state of what psychologists call cognitive dissonance. The brain has to resolve it, and it's easier to change an attitude than to undo an action. So the brain concludes, you know what, I guess I don't dislike him that much after all. In fact, I kind of like him.
The action literally changes the belief.
Precisely. So that's the positive version. Now for the dark side, the reverse Ben Franklin effect.
Prepare yourself, because this flips causality on its head. We tend to think people treat us poorly because they dislike us.
The reality is often that they dislike us because they've treated us poorly.
Say that again, that's huge.
People grow to hate you as a way to justify their own bad behavior toward you.
Okay, walk me through that. How does that work?
Most of us have a core belief that we are a good person, I'm fair, I'm kind.
Right, that's our self-concept.
Now, let's say one day I'm stressed or jealous and I snap at you in a meeting. Or I gossip about you. Or I just give you a cold shoulder.
Now, my brain has that same dissonance problem. I am a good person, but I just did a mean thing.
And there are two ways out of that dissonance. One is to admit fault. Wow, I was a jerk. I should apologize.
Which is hard. That involves shame and vulnerability. The ego hates that.
The ego hates it. So it takes the path of least resistance. It changes the other variable. It concludes, I didn't treat him badly for no reason. He must have deserved it. He's actually really arrogant, or he's annoying.
So you villainize me to justify your actions.
And just like that, the dissonance is gone. I'm no longer the bad guy. I'm the good guy who correctly identified a bad guy. My ego is safe.
This is terrifying because it creates a feedback loop.
A horrible one. Once I've decided you're the villain, I have to keep treating you that way to maintain my story, so I'll be even colder tomorrow and the day after. Each time, I'm just gathering more evidence for the case I'm building against you in my own head.
All to justify one small initial moment of poor behavior.
It explains so much. It explains why some conflicts seem to escalate out of nowhere. The other person is literally fighting with their own conscience and using you as the battlefield.
So another interactive question. A self-assessment this time.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where 1 is super easy, 10 is nearly impossible, how hard is it for you to admit you've been unfair to someone you already dislike?
Just take a moment. What's your number?
If you're a 7 or higher, you might have this loop running in some area of your life. It's a very human thing, but it's powerful and it's destructive.
Recognizing that someone's coldness towards you might actually be their own guilt. That's a game changer.
It allows you to detach from it.
And if you're finding this kind of breakdown valuable and want to go deeper into the psychology of relationships and self-awareness, this is a good time to make sure you're subscribed on our platform.
And please like this episode. It's a small click for you, but it genuinely helps more people find this deep dive. People who might really be struggling with these very dynamics.
Okay, let's keep going. Reason number 4. This is a classic concept from psychology, but it's worth a fresh look. It's psychological projection.
We hear this term thrown around a lot. Oh, you're projecting, but it has a very specific meaning. It's a defense mechanism.
The basic idea is that we take feelings, traits, or desires that we find unacceptable in ourselves, and we attribute them to someone else.
It's like taking your own internal trash and dumping it in your neighbor's yard. Now it's their problem, not yours. You get to feel clean.
So how does this create unprovoked dislike?
Well, this is where the idea of the shadow self comes in. The shadow is the part of our personality that contains everything we've repressed. Qualities we were taught were bad.
Like maybe you were taught that being ambitious was selfish, or that being creative was a waste of time.
Exactly. So you push those parts of yourself down into the darkness of your unconscious. But they don't go away. They're still there, wanting to be expressed.
And then what happens?
Then you meet someone who is openly, joyfully ambitious, or someone who is wildly creative.
And your own repressed ambition or creativity starts rattling its cage.
Yes. And your conscious mind, your ego, freaks out. It can't handle that. So it projects. It says, I don't hate my own repressed ambition. I hate that person. They're so aggressive and pushy.
Wow. So the thing you hate in them is actually the thing you've disowned in yourself.
There's a brilliant reframe for this. Envy is often a projection of your own unlived awesomeness.
I love that phrase.
It means the people who trigger you the most are often just messengers from your own shadow, showing you the potential you've buried.
But it's so much easier to say, that person is arrogant,
Yeah,
than to say, I'm insecure about my own confidence.
it is. The hater is often completely unaware that they're just fighting a battle with themselves, using you as a proxy.
This calls for another moment of reflection. Our 5th interactive question.
Think about a personality trait in other people that just instantly gets under your skin. Not something terrible like cruelty, but just an everyday trait.
Maybe it's people who are super organized, or people who are really spontaneous, or people who talk a lot.
Now ask yourself, honestly, could that be a shadow part of yourself asking for attention? Is their trait just an exaggerated version of something you need more of in your own life?
That's a deep question. It requires real honesty.
But if you can answer it, you can reclaim that energy, the projection dissolves.
Okay, our 5th and final reason. This one takes us from deep psychology to split-second brain science. We're talking about the adaptive unconscious and a concept called thin slicing.
We all like to believe we're rational beings, that we judge people based on their character over time.
But the truth is, we make up our minds in a fraction of a second.
That's thin slicing. Your unconscious brain takes a very thin slice of data about a new person, their posture, their tone of voice, their facial microexpressions, and it makes an instant judgment.
And what's it judging?
Just one thing, really. The most ancient question. Friend or foe? Safe or unsafe?
This happens before we're even consciously aware of it.
Completely. So if you walk into a room and you happen to use a turn of phrase that reminds someone's unconscious of a person who hurt them years ago,
Their alarm bells go off.
instantly, they get a bad feeling about you. They can't explain why. They'll just say, I don't know, there's just something about them I don't trust.
And that something is just a faulty pattern match in their brain. I've become a symbol for someone else.
Yes. And you have zero control over that. You can't control the database of experiences that other people are comparing you against.
That's both frustrating and liberating.
It is. Now, take that individual mechanism and apply it to a group. That's where you got social identity threat. Groups crave conformity and consistency. It's a safety signal.
Yeah.
If you join a new team and everyone on that team is very reserved and quiet and you're naturally bubbly and outgoing,
You're a threat.
you're a threat to the group's identity. Your difference, even if it's positive, feels like an attack on their way of being. It creates an unconscious feeling of us versus them, and you're the them,
This can lead to something called the spiral of silence.
where the group subtly, or not so subtly, punishes the outlier to restore harmony. They might ignore your ideas in a meeting or forget to invite you to lunch.
All just to get you to conform, to become like them so the group feels safe again.
So sometimes people don't dislike you. They dislike your difference.
So a final interactive question on this section. A simple yes or no.
Generally speaking, do you feel safer blending into a group or standing out on your own?
There's no right answer. But your answer reveals a lot about how you navigate the world and how the world might be reacting to you.
If you prefer to stand out, you have to accept that your comfort with being different is, by definition, uncomfortable for people who rely on conformity for their sense of safety.
Okay, we are about to get into a case study and some specific scripts you can use for this.
And just a reminder, if you like this episode and want to help more people find the show, please take a second to give it a like. It really helps us get more topics like this out there.
All right, let's do a mini case study. Let's make this real. I'll set the scene.
Okay.
Let's imagine a character named Alex. Alex just gave a fantastic presentation at work. The clients loved it. The boss is happy. Alex is feeling great.
A total success, a tall poppy moment.
Exactly. As Alex is leaving the conference room, a colleague, let's call him Jordan, pulls Alex aside. Jordan gets close, lowers their voice, and says, "Great job in there, but you might want to dial it back a bit. You don't want to intimidate the team."
The helpful critique that's actually a poison dart.
Let's break this down using our framework. What's happening here?
First and foremost, that's classic tall poppy syndrome. Jordan is seeing Alex's success and is immediately trying to cut Alex down to size. Dial it back is literally be less tall.
And what about the framing? You don't want to intimidate the team.
That's pure projection. Jordan feels intimidated. Jordan is insecure, but it's too vulnerable to say, your success makes me feel insecure. So Jordan projects that feeling onto the entire team.
It makes the criticism sound like a selfless act of social guidance, not a selfish act of jealousy.
It's also a form of what's called crab mentality. If you put a bunch of crabs in a bucket and one starts to climb out, the others will pull it back down. Jordan is pulling Alex back into the bucket of mediocrity.
So the old Alex might have heard that and immediately apologized. "Oh my gosh, was I too much? I'm so sorry."
Which would have been a disaster. It validates Jordan's critique and teaches Alex to shrink. We need a new response, a boundary script.
Let's role play this.
Yeah.
You be Jordan, the aggressor. I'll be Alex.
Okay. Hey, Alex. Great presentation, but you're being a little intense. You need to learn to dial it back. You don't want to make everyone uncomfortable.
I'm passionate about getting a good result. I get that my style might be different from yours, but this is how I operate best.
Ooh, that's good. Let's analyze that. What did you do?
Well, first, I didn't apologize for my passion. I owned it. Then, I acknowledged their perspective without agreeing with it.
Yeah.
I get that my style might be different from yours.
That separates the two of you. This
Yeah.
is me, that is you. We are different. It's not a judgment.
And finally, I stated my boundary. This is how I operate best. It's a calm, firm, full stop. There's nothing for them to argue with.
Perfect. Let's try another one. The backhanded compliment. This happens all the time. I'll deliver the line.
Yeah.
Wow, a new car. Must be nice to have so much money to throw around.
It's not about must be nice, it's about priorities. I've been saving for this for a long time because it was important to me.
Yes. You deflected the implication of luck or frivolity and reframed it as discipline and choice. You took back control of the narrative.
And again, I didn't get defensive. I didn't list out my finances. I just stated a fact about my own values.
One more, the most difficult one. The silent treatment, the cold shoulder. What's the script for when they're not saying anything, just ignoring you?
The script for that one is internal. It's a script for yourself.
That self-talk script.
Yes.
Yeah.
As they're ignoring me, the monologue in my head is, this is not about me. This is their reverse Ben Franklin loop or their projection. I will not internalize their discomfort. Their silence is their issue to manage, not mine.
I will not absorb their discomfort. That's a powerful mantra.
It has to be. You have to build an emotional firewall.
Okay, so we have scripts. So let's talk about some bigger, more practical tools for self-protection. How do we live with this reality?
Tool number one is what we call strategic humility. Now, this sounds like I'm contradicting myself, but I'm not.
It's not about shrinking.
No. It's not about hiding your success. It's about controlling the story you tell about your success. When you share a win, you must also share the struggle.
So instead of just posting a picture of the marathon medal, you post about the 5 a.m. training runs in the rain.
Exactly. People resent effortless success. They respect earned success. By sharing the struggle, you make your achievement relatable and human. It makes you harder to villainize.
You're essentially preempting the tall poppy cutters by showing them the roots of your flower.
Tool number two is the burnout check. This is crucial.
You need to ask yourself if you're engaging in performance moderation. That's a fancy term for deliberately holding yourself back to make others comfortable.
Are you waiting to send an email so you don't seem too eager? Are you staying quiet in a meeting even though you have the answer? Are you downplaying your skills?
That is a direct path to burnout and resentment because you are spending more energy managing other people's insecurities than you are on your own growth.
And I want to say this very clearly. You cannot shrink yourself small enough to make an insecure person feel big. It's a losing game.
So true. Stop playing.
Tool number three, find your greenhouse.
I like this. A tall poppy can't thrive in an open field where everyone has shears.
It needs a safe place to grow. You have to actively seek out and cultivate a greenhouse, a community of people who celebrate growth, a neuro-affirming environment.
This could be a mastermind group, a few trusted friends, a mentor, a place where you can share your wins without fear of them being cut down.
You need that place to recharge your batteries so you can handle the negativity elsewhere.
So here's our final interactive question, and it's an action item. Who is one person in your life who genuinely celebrates your wins? No jealousy, no backhanded compliments, just pure joy for you.
Get their name in your head. Now, your challenge is to connect with that person this week. Reinforce that positive connection. Water your greenhouse.
Okay, let's nail all this down with a quick myth versus fact segment.
Myth. If someone dislikes you for no reason, you must have done something wrong that you're just not aware of.
Fact. Unprovoked dislike is almost always a reflection of the observer's internal state. Their insecurities, their projections, their cognitive dissonance. It's their movie, not yours.
Myth. To keep the peace, you should tone down your personality and try to fit in more.
Fact. Constantly tone policing yourself is a form of masking that leads to exhaustion and self-resentment. Authentic expression is the only sustainable way to live.
And a final one. Myth. If you're just nice enough and work hard enough, you can eventually win everyone over.
Fact. You can be the most delicious, perfect, ripe peach in the world, and there will still be people who just don't like peaches. It's not your job to convert them, it's your job to find the people who love peaches.
That is the perfect summary. So let's wrap this up, the 3-bullet recap.
Okay, number 1. People often dislike competence and success because of tall poppy syndrome. Your growth can feel like a threat to their own sense of status.
Number 2. Dislike is often a mirror effect. Your authentic life reflects back to them the parts of themselves they've suppressed, and they attack the mirror to avoid the message.
And number 3, and this is the big one. Sometimes people dislike you simply to justify their own poor treatment of you. It's the reverse Ben Franklin effect, an ego protection loop that has nothing to do with you.
All right, that brings us to our weekly listener challenge.
The next time you feel that cold vibe from someone, that subtle criticism, that unexplained negativity, I want you to stop. Don't absorb it. Don't react.
Instead, observe it. Become a psychologist for a moment. Ask yourself, what am I seeing here? Is this tall poppy? Is this a projection? Is this a mirror effect?
Observe it like a scientist. Don't absorb it like a sponge. That detachment is your power.
If you found this helpful and want to continue building this kind of emotional resilience, please subscribe on our platform for more psychology deep dives like this.
And like this episode, it's the best way to help more people find the show and get access to these tools.
Next time, we're getting into a fascinating topic: the psychology of lucky people. Are they really just born under a good sign?
Or have they developed specific mindsets and habits that allow them to spot and seize opportunities that the rest of us miss? We're going to break down the science of creating your own luck.
You won't want to miss it. Thanks for listening.
See you next time.